President Trump has suggested that Huawei could be a factor in any trade deal between the US and China. How likely is that, do you think, from your perspective?
美国从来就没买过我的东西，怎么跟我谈啥谈啊？
The US has never bought products from us. Even if the US wants to buy our products in the future, I may not sell to them. There's no need for a negotiation. I will ignore Trump. Then, with whom can he negotiate? If he calls me, I may not answer. But he doesn't even have my number. I see his tweets and I think it's laughable because they're self-contradictory.
The list of companies that supply Huawei with components but also software that are now cutting off those supplies is growing. Of course, Qualcomm, Intel, ARM, Panasonic, Google as well. So I guess the question is, for how long can Huawei survive without those supplies of both components and software?
但是美国呢，是管辖的是美国公司。
The US manages its own companies. The US is not the international police. They can't manage the whole world. The rest of the world decides whether they should work with us based on their own business interests and positions.
交往，对吧？那确定和我们不交往的公司呢，那我们就要去补这个洞。
If some companies don't want to work with us, it's like a hole in the airplane. We're working to fix the hole, but the airplane is still able to fly.
我们在这个一直就在使用。
Of the chips we've been using, half are from US companies and half we produce ourselves.
这样使美国公司的利益也是得到保障的，对吧？
If the US imposes further restrictions on us, we'll reduce our purchases from the US and use more of our own chips.
我的芯片就会少一点，购买自己的使用自己的芯片就会多一点。
If American companies have permission from Washington to sell to us, we'll continue to buy from them.
华盛顿的批准还可以卖给我们，我们还是继续要大量购买美国芯片。
What exactly have you put in place in terms of contingencies?
那今天来说，核心在这个飞机的发动机、油箱里面。
We might have contingency plans for the core of the airplane, the engine and fuel tank, but we may not have a plan for the wings. We need to review the situation all over again and fix those problems.
说我们2、3年以后，你再来采访我们。
You can come back to interview us in 2 or 3 years to see if we still exist. If we're gone in 2 or 3 years, please remember to bring a flower and put it on our grave.
Well, you've talked about having a 2-year lead in terms of 5G on your competitors. Does that lead get eroded?
那肯定的，如果我们发展慢一点。
Definitely. If we slow down, it's because the wing of the airplane has lots of holes. If we fly slowly but others fly fast, of course they can catch us up. But we will keep fixing the holes. We will fly fast again once all the holes are fixed.
What extent of damage, how much damage do you expect to be felt in the consumer division of the business? So smartphones and laptops, which depend on US chips but also US software.
增长呢有可能达不到我们预计以前。
We might miss our expected growth target, but we are still growing. Being able to grow in the toughest battle environment, that just reflects how great we are.
就体现了我们多么伟大。
And you had bragging rights earlier this year. You overtook Apple as the number 2 smartphone maker. You saw smartphone sales in the first quarter jump by about 50%. And of course, you do have that goal of becoming the number 1 smartphone maker in the world. Does that goal now have to be shelved?
我可以变大，也可以变小。
We can become bigger or smaller. We are not a public company. We are not only pursuing growth or profit. It's good enough for us to just survive.
对吧？我们存活下来就是不错的。
There have been calls by some in China for Beijing to retaliate against Apple. Is that an action that China should be looking at taking?
我是绝对不会，这是第一点。
That will not happen, first of all. And second of all, if that happens, I'll be the first to protest. Apple is the world's leading company. If there was no Apple, there would be no mobile internet. If there was no Apple to help show us the world, we would not see the beauty of this world. Apple is my teacher. It's advancing in front of us. As a student, why should I oppose my teacher? I would never do that.
The critics of Huawei would say that you've got to where you are through intellectual property theft and government support. What is your response to that?
我说我们偷美国明天的技术，就美国都没有做出来，我去哪偷美国的技术啊？
The US has not developed that technology, so from where should I steal it? It's more likely that they steal our technology. Now we are leading the US. If we were behind, Trump wouldn't need to make so many efforts to attack us. He attacks us because we are now more advanced than them.